does the metal for the roof come?
I think very soon.
It's going to be delivered?
We ordered, so I think they're coming Tuesday. So we ordered the Friday, yesterday evening, and then so probably they finish the Tuesday, I think.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So probably, I don't know, maybe just one day.
Thank you all.
That's a long time, like this. Okay.
Okay. Open to page 5 in your prayer book. Say these short opening prayers. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings.
Sanje Judan Zoje Jonang Lo Achan Jo Parada Dane Josun Chen Da Ge Jen Soi Jin Bie Sonam Je and all I venture on
May all other sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Okay, and then to page 7. The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the 4 continents, and the sun and moon. As a Buddha field, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fields. Whatever merit I've gathered through prostrations, offering, confessing, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Okay, and then to page 16. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the 2 vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
Good afternoon. It was good lunch.
Yeah.
Now very sleepy. 다 데려와. 당가서 짐바레다 당기 공티바 나기리. 짐비 퍼로도 짐바소다 짐바레. 다 짐바데라. 되네 짐바데 되네 짐바 마타마 좀 카리오레스. jimba tangna pento kari yores. Re, tene ta tangbo tila, jimba matangna, tene ta chong sena kari yores.
So then, now, to continue with a more detailed explanation of these 6 paramitas, then we have first the paramita of generosity. And so within this more detailed explanation of the paramita of generosity, there's an explanation of the faults of not being generous, and then the benefits of when we are generous. And so to begin with, there are the faults of not being generous.
다 jimba matangna, tene, jik, 다 두다도 가두이나야, jik, 나초가 가나 tene, jik, 사야, 통야, tin리양, tene, 공부용 그래스. 드가 나기 게다 단계 휴와 나기 그 jimba 땅비나 토리를 토그래 송송. 티엔디다 기시 jimba matang나, tene 나초 로버렘. tin리양. 제스게스 이따 조 가르스나 뒤준도 계세양 지 뭐에게 제와 렘비나양 지유 되네 지유 딱 칼라 공부인 봐 텐데라 되네 지 가두이나양 지 칼라 마라와 강이 티도 되네 지 용그레스.
So when we aren't generous, when we don't perform acts of generosity, then it is said that one result is that at whatever time we are seeking them, then we have a difficulty finding things to eat and things to drink. And so even sustenance can be difficult to find, and this is one of the results of not being generous. And likewise, it is said that when we do not engage in the 3 first types of paramitas, the 3 perfections, then this can cause birth in the lower realms. And so that's one result of not being generous. And so the main thing is that when we are not generous, that even though we might be born in the human realm and have a human birth and so forth, basic needs like food and drink and so forth can be difficult to find. This is one of the faults of not being generous.
오다 로버렘 지리스다. 로버렘.
네, 랍송.
티니 당가서 디 칸디 섬노 땅고 그래 슬라비나 다 칸디나 지 심바제 그 디세션도 초지마 땅기면도 세네 고지 양 마방고 소야도 우고 소야도 야 양나 고지 저라지마야 보땅면도 세네 그 심바제케 티네 마 the lower ram do ji te ando tinde maris ta jeta ki che shoti tezore number sanji batela zawati lende se ya ta hakko gore sungdo lende se ya ta lende te ya te tanda so lende te ya tinde ngetna chipaboji suone 코란의 템도 지가 말이 그 내추럴로 로와 장기게 드가 나기게 레스야디 현해기 지바마인 봐 라나수소 지바인 봐 어떻게 갖고 그러와 대하고나 되는 것도 다 진바당의 편도 요한도 오지 그 deeply understanding 차그와 다 말다 그 진바당나 펜토 요나 메나 마타나 좀 요나 메나 로직 맞소티 그도 뒤로 도파 용석이로 와 이내야 그 렌데지 하거나 대 치테레 렌데 될때 송도 와
So when we think about this, So we might think, oh, so if I'm not generous, then someone's going to see, and then they're going to make it so I don't have food and drink. And they're going to make it so resources are scarce for me. So, if I'm greedy, then, the system will know, and then they're going to punish me by not having food or drink. It doesn't work that way. There's no outside, observer that judges us, whether or not we're generous. Somebody's not watching and keeping a tally of whether we're naughty or nice, or, they're nothing against Santa Claus, so it's not an external force that is judging us whether or not we are generous or not. And so this is extremely important. This is the most important thing, is to understand that when the Buddha taught the teachings of cause and effect, it's not some law, some external law that he was imposing upon sentient beings, saying that if you don't do this, then we're going to make sure you don't have food and drink and so forth. It's not like that at all. What it is that when the Buddha taught cause and effect, he was teaching how things are, how things naturally work in the mind streams and experiences of sentient beings. And so when we engage in certain actions, there are these repercussions. And so it is this impersonal, it goes beyond just personal judgment or anything. And so in this way, when we can understand cause and effect, then in this way of how this goes beyond any one individual or any one religious system or judgment, but how it is the natural way that things are in our reality, then we can gain an extremely deep understanding. If we don't understand cause and effect in this way, then we can develop all sorts of thoughts like, oh, this is just a weird tradition or so forth. So it's important to understand the Buddhist teachings in the broader way.
That is only Sanjay Ke. Majibala Minjung only. Jig Dekaji Madonna, Jungmare is only. Majibala Minjung Srawa.
Majimpa?
Majiba Lekaji Majina, Jungmata, general, not only generosity. Penangatu Shinka Matana, Washinga. Shinka Matana, Jungmara. Or Majibala Minjung only. Okay.
So the Buddha taught in relationship to cause and effect, if you don't do it, then there won't be any results. And so if you don't do something, then there will be nothing to show for it. And for example, if you don't plant, if a farmer or a gardener doesn't plant a seed, then there will be no plant that grows.
Tega naji maji pachigla ji yungris rewa jamna yung mare sore. O ta nga pena shinkan ro ji tapne shinka ji matapne nga dewi ya yung samban ro yana ji pena tanda ro this case. Pena jimba matang nga mamu pala chupo chagri ro sambate yung sig mare.
So, in this way, if we don't perform an actual action, if we don't have the karma, if we don't engage in the activity to get a result, just hoping for some result won't make it happen. For example,
or hoping or wish or want. Yeah.
If we just wish, if we just want. For example, if we don't plant a seed, and we don't plant a tree, then to hope for a harvest of all kinds of fruits, it's not going to happen. No matter how strong we wish for, no matter how much we, pray for some, fruits, if we didn't even plant the tree in the first place, it's just not going to appear. And so, likewise, if we aren't generous, if we don't engage in generosity, to just hope we're going to be rich and prosperous, it's not going to happen because we don't have the cause or basis for that.
어디니 지발라 쭈면서 지발라 쭈면서 하고도
Choosing
쭈세는 guarantee로 쭈 메자지 guarantee로 해라고다.
choose.
쭈면서 세나 빼나 저나 현가지 답이오나
Uh-huh.
드림 드림 중 그래 스타트 계승의 현가다는 단 드림 많이 오나 개면도 고금면도 산나 중 그래서 다디 콘드레베데 가스나 고 개벤데 인스그레 메게벤데 인스그레 와 베나 단단다오이나 저라 짐바타 요나 테네 코랑 텔레테네 콜롱초 용야데 다 주산와요 마다 고 디하 비트벤 라라요 마다 고 100% guarantee happening 용으로 와 is 정도 다티 개체 뭐 레이트가 좀
So then it is taught that there's the saying as well, if you do it, then the result is guaranteed. So when we actually perform a certain type of action, then it is 100% guaranteed that there will be a result, a direct proportionate result for that action. So for example, if we plant a fruit tree and create the conditions for that to grow, then it will 100% grow into a fruit tree and you will get fruit. Even if you don't, want a fruit tree, if you planted a fruit tree in a fertile environment, that's going to grow. Even if you're not thinking about it, it's going to grow. And so when we engage in virtuous actions, they're guaranteed to result in beneficial results. When we engage in non-virtuous actions, we will get the results of those. So generosity 100% leads to, these positive outcomes. And whatever activities we do, they are guaranteed to have results.
다 대양한테는 양코 depending 타링동이어래 있다. 지금 레들 타링동 뭐도 베나 레들 체중을 떼네. 베나 저는 개와지 도요나. 되네. 베나 개와 흉침보 도요나. 챈들은 도비야. 챈들 상지야. 되네 야 개와 중중 이제 마토 메위나. 되네 양 고카세 거래. 두조 중봉 고거야. 어다 되네 용구요래스.
So then, in addition to that, though, there is a lot of variation in terms of time frames in which we experience the results of our karma, our activities. And so, for example, one of the differences in activities that we engage in, the karma that we engage in, is how powerful and how forceful and how strong of activities we engage in. And so if we engage in extremely powerful virtue, then we can experience the benefits of that virtue in this very lifetime, in this very body. For example, if we engage wholeheartedly in complete virtue in a very powerful way, we can attain Buddhahood in this very life. However, so we can understand, though, there is this variation depending on a number of factors in which the time frame for the ripening of our karma can vary.
되네 내가 나이게 어때 제타처럼서 된다 코션유나 티샤는 디그레스 때 지치는 거 저요 그 펜토요래 칼스나 데려와 지 땅가서 하지 고거와 텐도 지 파서 지지나 녜지보 말랍데월이 양고 디스커션 치위나 디스코 하코야다 셈은 자야들이 용거요래 텐도요 지게 라라라 테네 텔리코 디스커션 테네 디스 야기요래 키시 하마고나 지랑서 카디투와치는 디그레스.
So then now, if there are any questions, feel free to ask them questions related to this teaching. And this can be really beneficial. The point of this, teaching is so that we can all gain a deeper understanding of these topics. And so Drupon is saying if he just teaches and teaches, but we don't deeply understand this, then that's not really beneficial. So if you have some questions, we can discuss that so that this can be understood. Yeah?
So when I'm hearing you say, gracias. What I'm hearing you say is, in a roundabout way, you reap what you sow, and actions or inactions have positive or have consequence, whether it be positive or negative. To sum up what you were just saying,
Mm-hmm.
but the time frame can vary based on what.
How big?
So it's not necessarily instant karma.
There is instant karma, yes. But depending, like for instance, we said, I think also the Buddha said, so you say Om Mani Padme Hum once. So then they said you will achieve enlightenment. So Buddha no lie, that's true. But take a long time. Okay, so that is just kind of small merit. Okay, also like for instance, so maybe this if like that, so there may be, I don't know, like 4, 5, maybe 1,000 lifetimes. After, then you can get result. Maybe you will achieve enlightenment. So kind of small. So like small generosity. So this is not happening this life or many lifetimes, but many, many lifetimes after you can happening. So depending, or like Aterewa, Tiga no Yiketa, Gewanda drop in, Gewa Shuk Chimbo Yuna, then Tandara migrates instant. Benatiga no Yike, not to Jig, Dipanda Uji Yabina, then be top Chimbotini Yabina, then Tandara, me too good in Tibtanda. Tiga no it's Sendalia, Sanjiat Nungro. Tindico, instant karma, liberates.
Dikpa shock.
Or Dipa Yana, that's for example, but Dipa Yala so but on the back, then Joba Travel Yamina, then Tandaraya, the potato grace.
So, likewise, when we engage in virtue, and if it is extremely powerful, we can experience it this very instant. The instant we engage in tremendous virtue. And in this way, there can be a moment when, we attain complete enlightenment through such powerful virtue. Likewise, through extremely powerful confession and remorse for negative deeds, when we have that in our hearts, like deeply, then that very moment we can purify that negative karma. And so it's not, always that things take a long time. Sometimes karma can ripen instantaneously.
Oda Tiga no Yike, Tene, Ta Yeda La Sobatene, Jevaling Mare, so that's all because the Yeda Jevalantella, so Jimba Matan Wiki, Kelatene, Tene. Oda Kasina or Torimaritini Kisi Jimbatan maybe na, Jimbin Zawani maybe na, Yidala Soba is.
So it is further taught that when we engage in generosity, then we are not born in the lower realm of the hungry ghosts and the hungry spirits. On the other hand, when we don't engage in generosity, when we are, greedy and miserly and so forth, then this is the cause and basis for rebirth as a hungry ghost.
So what means hungry ghost?
Never satisfied.
Hmm?
Like the Rolling Stones, you can get no satisfaction.
The simpa me,
Huh?
simpa the pache satisfaction is not sim sergiori. The kala tatasana tani.
Like a meaningful
Never
life is
satisfied.
Very satisfactory to live. Like to be like very meaningful and feel very satisfied with life. So hungry ghosts mean no matter what you have,
Katse
you can't get that satisfaction.
kala kikola katse sana the
Always
zegamare.
wanting more.
No. No. Sorry. The hungry ghost. So the different realms, right? So this we call 6 realms. So hell, hungry ghost, animal, this we call 3 lower realms. So hungry ghosts, they never get the food. So always, all the time, hunger and thirsty. So basically, like never get the food.
You wait till I get all the way over here. Hunger ghost. Just chill.
So it's like, you know how some people have say there's like there's realms. So it'd be a realm of like even worse than this realm.
Yes.
Believe it or not.
So it's like,
Yeah, that's
like
difficult, right? So we cannot see because, but yes, we cannot see different realm. But maybe it's somewhere here, but we cannot see. But the higher practitioners, they're able to see. Right? So this kind of best example is that we human beings and animal realms. So we see each other, animals and human beings. But really is that this human beings' mind, also human beings seeing things maybe animal cannot see. The animals can see something, but we human beings not see and feeling. So then this kind of like further, more like hungry ghosts. Okay, hell beings we cannot see, and hungry ghosts we cannot see. So this kind of level, the hungry ghosts say that sometimes so you wonder, sometimes so me wonder. You know, so to not so move more.
So hungry ghosts are called, sometimes related to a type of being called like smell eaters, Gandharvas. And so they can sometimes appear and sometimes like not appear. And there's some discussions of like the appearances of Gandharvas. But it can be a type of being that sometimes appears and also doesn't appear.
Well, here it says hungry ghost is a term in Buddhism and Chinese traditional religion, representing beings who are driven by intense emotional needs in an animalistic way.
Yeah. So their story. Okay. So their story is that I said is that not get the food, right? So the story is the Papakadayana. So here's clairvoyant. And the higher clairvoyant, then actually the hungry ghost can see too, can talk. Like kind of mentally, too mentally, And the Papakadayana see, so then he saw the one hungry ghost woman So then he give to message to Papakadayana, please, we are just hunger, thirsty here. I think sort of wife, and children. So, if you go everywhere, so you're able to find, my husband, So then, Papagada said, oh, okay, when you left this, your husband, 12 years ago. 12 years ago, right? So they can't explain, my husband like this hand or nose or those things, So then Papagada went to Bodh Gaya. So Papagada is a human being, okay? So he has killer wings. And then sort of like Papagada kind of like recognize, so this one, the dedication is very, very important. So actually this, the Vinaya, raw order monks, the ordens, so this they give like leftovers, they we call for the for the Holy Ghost. So then this kind of like below the woman dedicate, then they get. But otherwise, this the Holy Ghost never get naturally, right? Naturally. So somebody dedicate. So then anyway, so this kind of one monkey dedicate, then all the like yadas come to there. So then he realized that, and then so then I sort of think, oh, this is maybe that the message from the woman. So then he just talked to him, or are you, this is your husband? Say yes. So now the wife message to you because he's waiting for your food. 12 years. So so now you have to beg, to your wife or children. Said yes. I was 12 years looking for the food. So only I can get within the 12 years. So one like practitioner, you can split, right? Split. What called it? Split. So dedicate. So all the yidaks, they just kind of try to get. He got a little bit. Just he hold like this, and his nails go through here. So that is that we call Holy Ghost. So Holy Ghost not get food at all. So
Much more suffering.
Not just no satisfaction, no opportunity for satisfaction.
that's human beings Holy Ghost, maybe.
Another question, Drupon?
Uh-huh.
So online, the question was asked, there are many countries in the world that do not have enough to eat. And the question is, do most of the people in those countries lack generosity, or is that kind of like their karma?
Yeah, so this is kind of tell this labiate controversy no lela wiyo marwa. Chanaso le chanaso dubo leza ina ngone china karma is karma la. Karma la karsena tedoa. Karma la ben karma chigla kandiji yores la vina. Devi nyonta mandawa hinyong yores. Tiyang tini ben nami kintiwa chig nyong ya yores. Tini nami devi labdu ben tha jimbaro tang mi vina. Tini ku nami kintiwa tila maung bala tini ufo dawo norme wan dawo jewa nami devi dawa. Tiga na ji chipa jundu labna ya kuchewa chimaji yang ina yang korang ke ya jimba tong no ba yo mares
Mm-hmm.
chiba jundu ro tene nyongwa jundu labdi yang ko ji jimba tang ke ko jupsha hira rag mares tega na ye ke tene wang ke drib labdi ta yu tene ji yang yu tel ko resource me ba tene do je ke je ge yo ro tene ri ti na yang ta tan dang so general tene ri la to ya ka bo ra ina yang ko sama leg ti do go yo
So, in general, it's not easy to generalize the karma of others. It's, when we see something like
Right, so yeah, we cannot say, oh yes, those people you bad karma or whatever, We cannot say, But however, it is the actually karma, so.
Yeah, so for example, one different type of karmic action can result in many different styles of fruition. For example, there is
Like
what is
each one is like four, what is characteristics, not characteristics, but all four.
right.
Or
So
resort,
so
four different resorts. Right?
so there are four different aspects to the ripening of karma, and for karma to fully ripen karma. So, for example, the fully ripened karma of not being generous can result in a situation of impoverishment. However, sometimes there are variations on this ripening of not being generous. One thing might be that you don't have stuff. So one might be that you don't have material possessions, you don't have wealth. That can be one result. Another one could be that you don't desire to be
Right,
generous.
so tell about this. First, there are resort that kind of like many stages.
Uh-huh.
First, direct resort
Uh-huh.
is like you generosity, you resort become rich. Or the opposite, you can maybe didn't generosity, you become poor.
Mhm.
That's direct resort. But still you not finish your karma. So tene terawa kasde residual karma, revete kasde chipa jundurowa.
Mhm.
Chipa jundu sina kare.
The difference, the variation.
Chipa jundu sena, I think this the habitual,
Chepar jundu.
yeah, habitual tendencies. If you the next life, still your next life because your habit, you don't want to go that generosity. And then chipa jundu, the kind of you have still you experience the resort. So maybe you, even though you have thinking maybe you have generosity, but you don't have the positions. And then the fourth one is still not finished, so this kind of, you're purifying the karma, so these many steps you go through. And also, last one you said you can, the result of the, the environment, born into your environment, right?
Right. So there's these different levels of the ripening of not being generous, where
So this both were positive and negative.
so it can work, both ways. If you are generous, then you will have, possessions and wealth. You will desire to be generous. You will have materials to be generous with, and you will be born in a realm that has a lot of prosperity. On the other hand, if you're not generous, you will not have possessions and wealth. You will not desire to be generous. Even if you want to be generous, you won't have things to be generous with. And then you can also be born in an environment where there aren't a lot of resources in general. And so this is how karma works in general. However, for us to just point out a country or a certain location and say that this is, a particular result of these people's karma is that they are experiencing this is difficult because karma is very subtle. On the other hand, everything is karma too. So there's.
Mhm.
I have a.
Or
Dana?
You want to go after me?
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Just push the button. Okay. So the hungry ghosts are, when they're incarnated as a hungry ghost, is their incarnation or their lifetime as a hungry ghost purifying the karma that made them a hungry ghost in the first place? And do they have the ability to then incarnate as a human again? And so is this similar, like this suffering is almost like of this incarnation in itself is a purification of the karma?
You're right. So the hungry ghost, the born hungry ghost, and actually this is interesting. Is the worst realm in hell, right? Hell. I don't know. We don't want to talk about hell, right? But I don't know. So, and hungry ghost. So those actually they born there very difficulties, or but same time they not create the negatives. So eventually can able to purify completely, then go born in higher realms. So actually wars, Lord Jigten says the wars is animal realm. So animal realm, it first the negative karma, then because they born in animal realm, right? So first one. And secondly is they create more karma in the animal realm. So animals harder to, not 100%, I think, but animal realm to, right, to born in the higher realms harder. So particularly, animals, not all same, so some animals better, vegetarian animals, but some animals. Chihuahua is better, worse, I don't know.
The worst.
Chihuahua's worse?
The small ones also.
Little dogs from Mexico.
I think Chihuahua's not bad. But I think the worst in the tigers, lions, how in the ocean, this how much eat, one-time sharks, fish, bird. So that's, I think, harder. So actually they said the Tibetan, that is not, I don't know, this is not from the Dharma. But if you get born in the, within the, animal realm, so you were born in the dog, then it's sort of end of the animal realm. So you get born dog to human being. So, but I don't know 100%, but.
where is this? Is this in the sutras?
No, I said I didn't see the Dharma, but the Tibetans like kind of pain over the Tibetan like.
So it's a Tibetan saying that your last stop in the animal realm is a dog. And then from the dog you can become a human pretty easily. And then I asked if it was in the sutras, and Drupon was like, no, it was a Tibetan saying.
I think so. Dog is pretty good, right?
They actually do create a lot of.
Yeah, dog is, I think, more smart and more close to human beings. I think kind of more.
So much joy.
Yeah, some dogs they hunter dogs, but this is the like based on the human beings doing that, But So, yeah.
When you said that some people think they're being generous, but in fact they're not. So intention has a lot to do with your generosity. Like, let's say, people who smuggle people across the border, the people are real grateful to get across the border, but then when they reach the other side, there's like other implications. So that's not really true generosity. You're not really helping them out because you're putting them in a. Yeah, I know, right? But is that what you're saying? Like you think you're being generous and that you've done these generous things, but your intention's not pure.
Right. So this, yeah, I think we have coming details. So which generous, authentic or not, or whatever your object giving. So we have more details after coming. Okay.
Right. In regard to animals, I would recommend the book, The Words of My Perfect Teacher. That's a book that talks about the different realms. But I remember reading that, just first of all, hungry ghosts are the pretas, right?
Paradise, yeah.
Okay, that's the number one thing. And but in regards to the animals, that it goes like in a scale, if I'm not mistaken, depending of the mental afflictions that we as human have, is how low we're gonna fall if we're not very pure. But for example, the lifespan of a mosquito or a fish, it's very small. And so you will have to go a lot of lives as a fish, as a mosquito, to keep going up, let's say to a dog. And as a dog, which is closer to us as humans, they have a better opportunity to practice compassion and be born as human. Coming back to the dogs, right? And that's why probably the Tibetan saying is that the best luck of being an animal will be a dog because they have the most opportunity to be closer to us and practice compassion and generosity with their love and their affection, and then they can be born as human. And the opposite, as humans, if we're stingy and we don't learn to share and to give to others, we're gonna go back down and start all over again. That was the principle, right?
Yeah. Actually, this we don't want to say that, but I think this the lower realms that come from the human being. I think so. Yeah. Originally, so.
So Holy Ghosts come from.
Yeah.
The hungry ghost.
So
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what my question is. I was just thinking about individual cause karma, but yet we are born into all this together. So we're dealing with each other's karma collectively, like where it's all happening. So it just got really tricky in my mind. I don't know what my question is, but.
You're right, yeah. So that's actually they called, we have, I think they called common karma or collection karma and individual karma. So individual, right? So collection karma is the bigger, is all the human beings collection karma. And also within the human beings, like for instance, the United States, one country. So that is as long as the United States. So that is called, what I call collection karma or
Collective.
common karma?
Collective karma.
Yeah, collective karma. So also we kind of sometimes, war to countries. So we thinking, oh, this leaderships they're doing, or armies they're doing. So we thinking just we never done anything, But actually, because even the armies, they try to count, or one hand is they right or wrong, but mainly is their sacrifice for the countries. So they die, how much they suffering. So this is actually we get karma equally. So not somebody doing their war, but this because of the collection karma. And so yes, so this I think so individual karma and also like I said the collection karma and also the good karma. So good karma is so like we call the sangha, brothers. So like virtue is karma. And together, so they said if you virtue is karma collection, so sometimes particular this, the Vajrayana saying is you will achieve enlightenment at the same time. So which means you can everybody's same practice, maybe different, but you will achieve enlightenment like same time. So that's kind of like also collection karma.
Okay, thank you. Just as a follow-up, because I think about your culture and your Tibet and being such excellent practitioners, but you couldn't predict what China was going to do. Like, that's not a karma, is it?
Yes, I think this is everybody saying that's all your Tibetans pretty good. Why these bad things happened? But actually, there is bad things. So this is going on like more than 1,000 years. So first is the Tibetans, not Buddhism country. So Tibetans were everywhere. So like for instance, like King Dzongchen Gampo or other warriors, they can control all the hub in China, India. So these days, like all the Middle East, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and what are they, Turkestan, or up to, one time they can control Turkey. So, and then with the Mongolia, like Fourth Mongolia, after that Mongolia more powerful, Mongolia took almost everywhere. So this is going on all the time. Even though Tibetan Buddhism become Buddhism country, by same time, like situation going on until this situation. So not really kind of perfect people, I think. So. Okay, so that did tene that jimba madembe chung tene peji yore kesi jimba mi na matang na tene chi kesi dra jombe kombang to na thadung ko chi kala saya mara wiki dungi tene yongre sung do.
So, in terms of an example of the faults of not engaging in generosity, it can be the case that even though someone attains the somewhat enlightened state of being an arhat, sometimes even arhats don't have enough food and drink. And so that can occur as a result of not.
So then so you can help me, okay? So I can maybe like a bit easier say. So the story, so one called this monk's name is Gurchum, right? Gurchum. So he already become arhat. So are you familiar arhat? Right, so arhat means is no afflict emotions at all. So they completely control. So that's kind of the reach there, So the Gelong Gorchung, so one So one time, so then it kind of like a long story, but he almost, end of the died. It's like because he died at like kind of hunger. So he didn't get the like 7 days in the food. So he's monk out, right? So make line up. So the kind of that time is begging, begging the food, right? So when the Gelong Gurchungs get there in food, so food is gone. He didn't get food. So that's monk's rule. You get one time, but you can going on and on, not like that. You get quickly who's offering the food that eat, they have to go to practice. And then first, I think not exactly sure of these days, but so one day he didn't get food. So because he got the land there, and he didn't get the food. And the next time, so then he went. So then just kind of like the owner, whatever they sponsored, he just missed. Just some reason, distraction, whatever. He didn't give the food. And then, so this, I'm not sure one, maybe there's 7 days, but then one day, so said there's the man disabled, Buddha's disabled Mongoliana, right? Mongoliana and Haripudara. So, yeah, the die, remember. So this, the Haripudara said, okay, I think you have problems. You don't get the food, So just you sit there, we can get for you today. So he's home, and then, so that day have to very, very far away walk, have to get the food, So the Haripudara, they get the food, everything, and along the road, so Haripudara put in this begging bowl, whatever, this bowl, and ball fell down, like all the kind of 100 feet down, food is gone. So, and then next day, same thing. Okay, the Mongolian are very strange. You are very mindfulness. You are really man disabled, but you can begging boys. Not safe place, So, right, so I think this, I forget. So this is not my Haripudara, Mongoliana. So Mongoliana most the kind of miracle, powerful. He can fly, So he tried to fly, tried to reach the ball, he didn't get. So that's the first time. And second is the Haripudara. So the Haripudara never forget, So it's just memories. Buddha talked, that is like photocopy. But that day, so the first day said, okay, Haripudara said, okay, you just home, I can bring for you food. But Haripudara forget. I think next day he died, I think. But he became Arhat, but.
He died the next day? Why?
So because there's no food. Yes. Even though he became Arhat. So, but still, if you're not enough generosity, so. Okay, that's just kind of like, if you're not generosity, so now it's good side, okay?
So now, if you are generous, here are the benefits. So then, if you are generous, then wherever and whenever you are born, then without a lot of effort, you will have sustenance and provisions.
오다 대가 나기 단계 쇼이다 제그리 제그 라요로 저 칸 제그 말이스 되네 로어램 제그 말이스
And you will not be born in the lower realms, such as the realm of the hungry ghosts and so forth.
데 따지당 갖고 롱초세야 데 요베키 줌센라 때네 야지 과갑 되네 mambo 여러다 벤나 지 지바당야 이나레 심젠라 펜토야 이나레 틴디티네 배야고 용그레스.
And so then, furthermore, you will have the opportunity to engage in a lot of generosity, to, spread wealth and prosperity to other sentient beings, and to be able to help sentient beings and so forth.
어다 대가 나기게 지 초랑게 짐바텔 따나 다지 멀 펜토야 satisfied, 지 현동 지야라데 또 누가 휴 용거레스.
So then you will have the opportunity when you do engage in generosity, then you will be able to provide the goals. You will be able to help others attain their goals. And so you will be able to create satisfaction in others.
근데 다 대열이 대 가래 힌팅 알레 오만 유페 나와라. 근데 오만 유발라 칼라우스나 지원데 그 대왕원도 쟁스.
Kewa, indeed.
지원데 그 대와라 원도 쟁스. 만남지는 롱주 미나 that's a little bit difficult. 만남지네 롱주 미나 테네 롱주 다 진린 정체네스 인세티 스폰서 된 거 요로 로도 아이나 체네 투베 탐보 짐베 탐지도스 투베 탐보 the Buddha teachings. First he teaching the Buddha. 대하고서 다 테리카 다 책 땅 하마오나 몰라 대완도 그래 스무 참말라 대완도 그래라고라. 이나 대완도야 다 간디 대와다 대와 드롭 거봐 다 대완도 그래 대와 드롭 거봐 이나야 대와 드롭야 달라 가리 고스나 또 롱주지 거레스 롱주 베주다 제탄지 템지 원로 앞에 주 롱주지 요나다 고 대와 드롭 투 거봐 주 요레스 이나 롱주데 간디스 총버레스다 지부가 간디 총버레스 라위나 근데 짐발이 총기도스 근데 인도 상지기다 담봉 고주도네 다 지나서 짐바 땅서 아스 송버레스 대행이나다 정말 드롭토 그레스.
And so then it is taught in the entering the middle way instructions that everyone, beings desire happiness. However, they basically cannot do that without some type of prosperity and wealth. And in order to have such prosperity and provisions, to be able to engage in activities that result in happiness, then the Buddha first taught that we should be generous. This was one of the Buddha's first teachings. And so, just to round that out, all sentient beings, all humans, we all desire to be happy. Yet, the basis for that happiness, to create such virtue, we need to sometimes have some degree of resources to be able to engage in such virtue that creates those situations of happiness. And when we are able to, engage in activities like generosity and so forth that result in happiness, then we can, fulfill that goal for our wish for happiness. And so because of that, the Buddha emphasized as, part of his first teaching, the activity of generosity, so that we would be able to have, this merit to experience happiness.
오다 디디다 짐바 땅 올라트네 용레스다 짐바 카스나 짐바 땅 페요다 다 개체쇼 다리다 다 악초르 칸디스 치고레스다 라고다 프랙티스 디디다 짐바 땅 와 치발라 짐바 땅야라 렉솜요레스.
So then, the most important thing now, in terms of generosity, is to understand how to put it into practice. And so, for the practice of generosity, there are 3 different types.
다 당보대 상생기 짐바스. 이파데 면제 잡지 짐바스. 테네 초지 짐바스.
So then, the 3 types of generosity are being generous by giving material goods, possessions, and resources, and so forth. The second is giving protection from fear and peril, and so providing refuge and protection. And then the third is giving the offering or being generous by bestowing the Dharma.
다텔라 당보대 상생기 짐바테 나라야 상생기 짐바데라 테네다 예원로 지나야 상생기 짐바데라 데네 지 당보 마다비키 짐바 레스다.
So then, in terms of giving material possessions, there are different types. And so the first is what is called impure generosity.
대양테네 다 삼바 마다와다 우보 마다와 시오레스.
So this includes having an impure intention and also having impure materials or possessions that you are giving.
다 삼바 마다에 단기 모랄라와 나와지레 이테네 지가 조파 로화로 지기 요나야 고 돈다 코랑기 치튼다고 야면나 코랑 맹라야 치튼다고 야면나 야 고직다 텐데도 치는 지 삼바 마다와 제게 토네 테네 지 랑라케 상면 현라 삼마 타나 무 띠떼기 요르와 인다가 좀 텐디 치와달라 테네 다 삼바 마다와레스.
So when we have an impure intention or impure motivation, although we might provide help and appear outwardly to be generous, inwardly we're hoping to get something out of it. And so we have a selfish motivation. For instance, we might be appearing to be generous, but really want to make a name for ourselves. Or we might, be generous, but have some kind of ulterior motive, even though, we're appearing to be generous. We're trying to get something in return. And so basically, when we have a selfish motivation, these are impure ways of being generous.
I think there's many ways, so million things there, I think, but no need detail. And then,
So there are many different ways that we can have impure intentions in terms of being generous. But then the second is that when we have impure materials that we are being generous with.
다 뭐보마다 와디 되네 다저 손자트 차기요레스.
So then, one of the main materials that is impure to be generous with is to give something that can be used as a weapon.
다 대가 나이 양아츠디 I don't know if these days we can giving to the weapons someone but 개체 효태도 당아츠 참자 도보 뭐 해봐 되니 또나 되네요 대용 거로 와다 지금 뭐직 장통이면 다 장통 빼 힘보요래 지보요래서야로 양아직 짐바로 와다 직다 동표서야로 양면은 직다 사야이나 간데이나 다 더솔지 고메텔라 너야 더솔라 되니 지효라나 되니 고 초지들이 짐바 땅wan다로 와 짐바다 배나 레이사 한로도 가서 동바도도 또 뱅네 배샤티고라나 고 짐바로 와 이나양 고텔라 되니 제야여서 말했고 되니 뭐 봄마다 와 장로고요레스 고메텔 노고요 와
So essentially, when we have people that we are befriend, and we have positive connections with, but it can be the case that sometimes if we give them certain things, it's not actually helpful. Although outwardly it appears that we are giving them maybe like money or we give them food or drink of different types and so forth. If it results in a situation that kind of harms them, then even though it can look like generosity, it can actually create a circumstance where they suffer. And so we have to be in this way. It's not just giving anything to anyone is being generous. It can, if the items. The example earlier was like weapons, but that's not done as much these days. But if we give things to others that harm them, then that's not generosity. That's impure materials.
Right. So this, I think, also someone maybe not drink, So then don't give. Okay, yeah, just go fine. You just okay, a little bit, But he kept drinking liquor bed, maybe then his whole life he's just drink, So that's your generous beginning, And also things or some drugs or different. Oh yeah, just test, maybe it looks pretty good, But he never, he don't explain. Maybe he can test and then keep going, So those kind of sometimes we need aware, So like, if you not drink, that's okay. Just live long, you all just nice to have you maybe that's good, maybe today's special day, but that's not so. So this kind of like influence, easy. So actually this kind of like strange too, like positive things influence very harder, take time, but kind of like negative things. Just kind of naturally easy to, people listening, easy, they say easy. So those are actually our practitioners, so we can become aware. Wadatini tatila ko madabiketa samba madawata opo madawachayores.
So these are the impure ways of being generous with impure intention and impure substances or materials.
还有他谈起空气温那一类，他做开始呢，我说金巴的啦，这塔比金巴的，塔比金巴的啦，他做开始呢，这古龙sem number塔比个呢，这拍照有的嘞，看了偏啥嘞，三把，但是我不看这些有为那，但是不要当提到呢，就那个古龙个呢，个偏sem古呢，啷的，但是这边呢。
So then, on the other side of things, then there is pure generosity. And so the most important thing is that we have a completely pure motivation. And so in order to be generous with a pure motivation, we are thinking about not only what we are offering, but we are thinking about what will really be beneficial for others. And with such an intention of wanting to give something that is truly beneficial to others, then this is having a pure motivation for being generous.
Tene da jimba tang ya tele yang, tang si yu tele tene, ji ko tu tang, yu tang, tene yungu yo sares.
So, in terms of the objects, the object of generosity, there is both the time frame of generosity and then also the objects themselves that we are generous with.
You object so object
Or the
object so.
or the ones that we are being generous to.
So that two did yang as a two to la penacha havina, Jake Bana Sanje ke two chanda wo, Tagana yum monthly carsenanga so Terwa that's about Junda wo Jurmanda that in Yorwa special they know. In a da Tadung is time the tutu de carres lavina, da ya short benet Zavela Manda wo. Senta penanga so no in the pen holiness doji pebi two dojina, T gablatin a pe, koji shuk chimbo shuji, Nipatop chimbo. Nipatop chimbo labdu, Tene T ki gawatela, gawa juncha and walaudo. Gawa juncha sidu, koji juncha major increasing. Taparam roto gaji. You two or two tendila, two lawyers at is.
So then, there are these differences in general about time frames. However, if we are talking about the best time to be generous, it is said that during the great auspicious days of the Buddha's activities, these are particularly auspicious times to be generous during. And also, we can be generous, according to days, according to months, and so forth. And monthly, the special days, like the 10th day of the month, the 15th day of the month, the full moon, so forth, those are auspicious days. And during these times, virtue is particularly, it increases because of the auspiciousness of the situation. And one of the best times overall to be generous is during like a time when our own root gurus are visiting. For example, when like Kyabgon Chetsang Rinpoche is visiting, this is an extremely virtuous time to engage in activities of generosity because due to the auspiciousness of the visit and how profound that is, then all activities of virtue are magnified. And so in that way, virtue, like generosity in this case, dramatically increases.
That two to the unipo the cheba payo sari, two to unipo yabo, Yamson Zomna. Teneji, that Jimbada Chimbo down the Geo Chimbo Yorwa. Yina Yanko Chung Chung Jiktambi Nayantine, Kope Missy Gewa, Top Chimbo Yosarawa. Bernata and the Garzon Sanje Tons and Yore, Tina Namtal Tavina. Tanga Hiki Jimbatan, Tosa, Parochindo, Tindici, Chancho Semki Yorwa. Ina Gahiki, Metal Kanji Pura. Ina Metal Kanji Pubi Jum Center Latene, go Chancho Samachagua. T Jum Sankarsina, Koranke, Punyanke, Gunon, Pusik, you, two, Samaji. Yamton Road in Zombina, then 잘라 충충지 부위나요. 고지 갈색을 상지 고마토비야 장절 선바 잘하게 고 텐디 두여서라 봐.
So then, if we can line up, the inauspicious, time, inauspicious object, or kind of field that we are being generous to, and so forth, and set this all up, then our virtue can be particularly powerful, and still. Even just small actions in the right circumstance can be extremely beneficial. For example, during the fortunate period of when the Buddha was around, there were many beings that engaged in all different types of virtuous activities, and through such virtue and generosity and so forth, they, had incredible results. But also, there are stories of people during the time of the Buddha who even just offer.
During the 1000 Buddhas, so before before the Buddha.
Oh,
Long time ago.
okay, long time ago, during the time of the Ngumaki.
Yeah, 가rzang sangji tongyu de.
Oh.
1000 Buddhas.
Okay, excuse me. Not during the time of this Buddha, but during the time of the previous,
One of these one. Our Buddha.
one of the previous 1,000 Buddhas. There are stories of people who offered even just a single flower. And even through offering a single flower, then they were able to, as a result, eventually become bodhisattvas, arhats, and then bodhisattvas,
They become Buddha.
and then became complete Buddhas. And so when we have a pure motivation, and when the object that we are making offerings to, and the time is all auspicious, then, even just a single act of generosity can result
Till you
in.
become together. If there are
Yeah, so if the motivation, the field that we are making the offering to, and the time frame, the right time, if all these three come together, then even just one offering, an act of generosity, can be the basis for reaching Buddhahood and becoming a bodhisattva and so forth.
걔네 들어가나 얘기 다 저건 직전 성공케 대성 요래다 오다 유 걔네 제타 토메군도 현게 남바서 중국도 이나 양아 조다 베나 오브젝트 담네 야보 요래 송네 유들라 담네 야보 요래 다 베나 차찬 테러와 오가 조디 베네 $10 베가티나다 다 야 곰반도 텐디젤레티 나다 다 조치나고 부드러워 줘요라
Uh-huh.
이당가 초지디 다 지파로를 삼그런가 지도라 줘 땅바라와 야 초조라티나 돌라줘 티버리 or begalati na tibrawa
Uh-huh.
ina da joan jigde song big different yore song so hang the dam gores da chona choose you begala go dollar chute inda tene be gombanda wojila dollar chute atla gombanda wojite dam gore song ti jumsen kharis lavina pena begala dollar chute na ko quarantis pento ne ka pento je dollar ju kon khala saluna na kharsa gona chi pengirwa 테마도 그 베게 continuation 게바데 용투고 말해 소리 데비트 이나 저러다 곰바로지 돌라주 초도로지 돌라주 티미나 티게 그 continuation 베나 코나 안테드 다 베나타 고 가서 곰바 카시 치시 남네 보다 카시 카르바 카시 네고나 티게 저 게바데 코티 increasing 게바 디학데스 그 텐디 테니 페모치 요레스
So, Jigten Sunggon taught that when we engage in generosity, we should apply the focus of the object or the ones that we are being generous to very carefully. So we should be really mindful about where, it matters quite a bit to what we are being generous to who we are being generous to. So for example, say we have $10, right? And so we could give this $10 to someone who is on the street, who is asking for money, like kind of a beggar, or we could give the $10 to, say, a Dharma center or like a monastery. And for us, we're giving $10. It's the same $10. But according to Jigten Sumgun's instruction, there is a vast amount of difference in terms of the benefit that $10 can have. On one hand, sure, if we give, someone who is, destitute $10, it can help them, if they use that to get food and so forth, they can have some temporary satisfaction. It's always nice to help people. But then once that $10 is used up and that meal is gone, then that's the end of the result. However, if we use that $10 to support, for example, a Dharma center or monastery where there is a continuous practice of virtue going on, then that $10 becomes rolled into the greater merit of that entire Dharma center. And so for as long as that Dharma center is continuing the virtuous activities for all, the beings that participate in those virtuous activities, that $10 is, helping to continue that virtue. And so in this way, the benefits are really immeasurable. And so for that reason, Jigten Sumgun taught, that we should be very careful and mindful in this way about the object to which we are generous.
So also, yes, you have to give the beggars too. So actually interesting. So some people told me, I think many people told me too, so don't give these beggars, okay, just buy the whatever drugs or alcohols, right? So my concept is a little bit different. So yes, maybe buy. But this I give to the like $2-3, not really much changing. He already drank or already ate the drugs. That's why too late he's just in the street. So I give the $3 or maybe he can buy the drugs, but too late. He really cannot change. So we kind of motivation, so just, I think he just give, So they, whatever they little bit temporarily benefits. So, but they're not changing life, so at all. So basically, like, I think too late, so if you're beginning, yes, then whatever, but I said this kind of situation is really not changing. So, but there's, I think many people said, don't give those things, they buy the drugs. Maybe, but maybe buy the food, who knows? So, that's it. Tinda jeta jimba seya tela ke chimbore. Ina ta tsama chu cheya tsama de kond huwa na yere. Tene jimba taya la ya khom go gre so ta khom di ju. Tene ko changchop samba cha go ro. Changchop samba ma cha go ngola. Tene nga jimba taya de khabo yo ro. Khabo yo re so re. Nyema tela bu jimba taya la tene pe kale kabo shiro pate pe hansa kale kabo yore la re thika lo chora jang chi ne tene lakpa chi ye phala ti tene yong phala ti tene chiya ngama changjo samba to jang do
The lakpa ye yumpala de.
yeah
And
tene jang do ta ko kisi multi nu mina right so maybe somewhere in this. So this bodhisattvas, before the bodhisattvas, so they're learning to generosity. So they don't want to give anything to others. So this is start, maybe just, I don't know, this tea bag, so just more, how many pennies, but I don't want to give others, this one still. So they are okay, just give to here, left hand. Then you can do right hand. Because by learning, okay, giving, okay, I give you. And then eventually you really give to the others. And also, Kambo Tindi Jangori Sungdo, this Tibet story about Lome Sirsas.
Lome,
Sirsa.
sir.
Vegetable, vegetable.
Uh-huh.
This Serbo Charge, that thing was Serbo Charge, when he told on Rosarabas, I remember.
Uh-huh.
The two young was us, two young was Senator, two cheese.
Uh-huh.
The blue charts are not in Sayashira Yomata, Kohira Yomara.
Uh-huh.
That is a take the race.
Uh-huh.
Tamu Yandu.
Uh-huh. So Tibetans have a saying.
I think these are practitioners, not Tibetans, but
Okay, maybe practitioners have a saying
learning, yes.
that when you are training in being generous, if you don't want to give away anything, then you could start by at least giving away your rotten vegetables
No, yellow.
or yellow vegetables.
So yellow vegetable means green become yellow. If green become yellow, then I think probably not. It's difficult. So.
Right. So at least try to give away your yellowing vegetables, and at least try to give away, like when the cheese gets moldy, not like good cheese.
Green cheese has got green cheese, but green cheese delicious, right? But this nurtured green cheese.
Right. When your mozzarella when your good cheese that's not supposed to get moldy gets moldy, at least give away your moldy cheese. So, right. So, when you train in being generous, there's a saying: at least start by giving away your yellowing vegetables. At least start by giving away your undesirable moldy cheese.
Ata tindi chine jane. So the nimajik same person. Nimajik tine chorank lakpati golamna orientic golamna te titoya chagres. Ti gavla kharchar se yellow vegetable tatan choran organic potine chikpa chando gres. Deyala.
So then, if we train in being generous, then one day, for such people that it was hard to even give away the yellowing vegetables, then if someone asks for their hand or their arm, they'll just give their arm. If someone asks for a vital organ, they'll give away their vital organs. And if we train, then as easy as it is to give away your yellowing vegetables and your moldy cheese, then it'll be, you can give,
Giving to kidney someone,
give your vital organs and limbs.
So actually, Drupon, he gave what is that? Drupon, TMC.
TMC?
Yeah,
Oh, Punso.
Punso, yeah. Yeah, Punso gave to kidney to the Kimbo, another Kimbo, he failure.
Oh.
He's almost died. Actually, amazing. He's just kind of good motivation. They're not related to anything. But he gave to Kenny, so now both is fine.
Wow. Was that here in the U.S. or was that in India?
In India. So they want, Kimbo Rando, right, I think. Yeah, he's traveling with sometimes holiness, but so. So, yina yangta, nyingji samba madawa, luna tangmar mijawo, song le da. Yina yana chona dangzi, peta tsangma tsangchang, macha ana fardola, yang supu chahila, jima tang chok mare, song le. Jima tang eo mares. Nyingji samba madawa, luna tangmar mijawo, song do.
So, it's important though, until we've really reached a really high level where we've gone beyond self-clinging, don't start, offering parts of your body and so forth. It's a teaching. It's a very high practice.
So because if you something you give the like lambs or organ, and just then so that you reach never regret. So that's the situation you can give, but otherwise, like something ordinary mind, maybe you're pain, say they may countercast, oh, maybe I'm wrong, I did this. So that's just not good. So the Lord Jikens almost said, don't give like part of the body. Okay, so we are couple, or not couple, but we maybe like a break here. 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. 5.
The clock's might be wrong.
Just as Shibala?
It's 20 of 4.
Okay, 4, yeah, 4. Right. Right. I think right, that's right. I think in different thinking. We said all 5. Yeah, he's very healthy actually. I saw him recently.
Oh, you know, I saw him when you were...
Yeah,
Good.
he said really healthy.
Hello, buddy. Hello, how are you? Good. Are we gonna do coffee or not? I think we should, right? Yeah. You're so skinny. I just ate a whole bunch of food. I can tell, because you're so skinny and something happening here.
Yeah, I just ate a whole, and we're gonna have the Christmas get together, or Christmas Eve get together.
When is that? The 24th?
The 24th.
I think I'm gonna stay home for this one. But I'm gonna come on the 23rd for Melanie's.
Oh, yeah, her baby shower.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm glad she said yes because
I know, she wasn't going to.
she didn't want it to.
I talked to her multiple times. She's like,
You did?
no.
What?
Paula is like, no, we're having one. So she's like, that's final. So
Okay, so that she used persuasion.
yeah, Paula's like, no. So Paula put the final smackdown. She's like, I don't care. It's happening. It's tradition. So she's like, okay. Paula's like, no. So she made the announcement, told everyone, and then Donna sent out the emails for the e-bike. So
That's
now
wonderful.
it's in motion. She's like, there's no stopping.
Well, I'm glad you guys
We were like, even if we have to sit outside your house and sing and all this, we'll force you to come out.
I'm
So
glad.
it's happening. I can't wait. I just bought some decorations that got delivered to my house this afternoon
Oh, wow.
for the baby girl. So I'm
I would go take them to lunch. And so we would walk from the museum downtown to a restaurant or something. In St. Pete. And so we're walking down, and all the homeless people sitting around, very respect, every one of them. And the business suit people and the designer dress ladies, they'd see us coming across the street. It was very bizarre, but yeah, I saw that more than on one occasion. It's very interesting. So, your perception of somebody isn't always the way it looks.
Oh, well, I've
You
heard that
know.
the hard way a million times.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Just living a life.
But it was very interesting to see that over and over again. You've got a great person to go out and to be enlightened all the same, then you can let go of maybe what appears to be going on a little easier. And it's okay to ask your future enlightened self for advice. And try that in your practice sometime. Especially when things don't make sense and you need an answer, believe it or not, once in a while, sometimes something shows up.
from pen?
I can't tell. Is it the pen? Is it the cover? Is it my clothes? Is it the bag? I got it. Talking about virtue and non-virtue. I see I'm covering. I'm Ningpo. Good on you.
Yeah, maybe pens.
Maybe this.
Oh, that's strange. You don't use it. You have a lot of pens.
Yeah.
You don't know where's the pens goes.
I think I'm okay.
Thank you. Would you like some coffee?
No,
Drupon, can I ask while we're waiting, what happened to the arhat that died?
Oh, right. So he already arhat. So this kind of like he's ended the suffering.
So he doesn't go, he just stays as an arhat?
Yeah, he already arhat.
Oh, okay, so he
But
doesn't-
still, they're saying this kind of like kind of actually this become arhat impossible like that. But powerful, if not enough, the generosity, no merit. Even though he can control everything, at the same time, just kind of maybe they're showing. I don't know. His side is maybe there is probably his side is maybe no suffering at all. But also the followers, so also Buddha talked, okay, reason he died. So happening this and that, they see, and so because of the how important generosity, even though he does much they're rich, but still he's looks like, maybe really is his side maybe no suffering, but we ordinarily sense he died in the hunger, so. But also same thing, he got physical, so. But he died, but also even though he has the food, probably he can die that time. But he already reached before already reached the arhat.
So there is more purification for arhat to reach a bodhisattva level? Or is it not even a comparison?
Very easy. Arhat level is very easy because they can control no afflict emotions. But sometimes we call what is the Nyentu Dajomba. How to say English?
The hearers or Shravakas, and then Drachompa is like foe destroyers,
Right.
the enemy destroyers.
So these sometimes they can remain in the meditation state. So that's a long time. So because there's no suffering, and so these kind of most obstacles.
And no time.
Yeah, there's no time.
We're all about concepts of time, and I have to remind myself is they don't have time. That's our concept.
Right. So no time. So like bodhisattvas kind of like sort of like this wake up, like make obstacle, so before he can remain in the or meditation, so you just wake up. Also their thinking. I'm not sure that's in the according to the text. Their thinking just completely achieve enlightenment. So then this long time stay there, but not everyone. So the long time there, and then sort of like kind of disturbing, wake up. So then this kind of hearing, you will not achieve enlightenment. So this kind of telling them. So they're kind of, maybe they have sort of arise the concept, what they're talking about, So then, bodhisattva path is actually very fast, I think. So we are this bodhisattva path, we can do like ordinarily, we can do, these days we can do, but we have afflicted emotions, so harder to fully, the bodhisattva. So because we have many obstacles, like a particular clinging, so on.
Because arhat is more Hinayana and...
Yeah, arhat is Hinayana. So the Mahayana is just if you go there, probably very quickly. But take time, so something there is, go there, bodhisattva path. Tene ta tangi ngala imba nga tso kharsa sanzing ki jimbas. Tene ta menjik jab jimbas on le ta menjik jab jimbas on ta ta nga tso ta specific nga tso soklo ti tang di borwa min jipa yujo jab jimba. Ta tiga na ji mala kanyi khariyo na ji so ta lu ta tinde la tene
So then the first type of generosity was giving material possessions and material support and so forth. And so then the second type of generosity is giving protection from fear. And so this is granting somebody refuge, for example, when their life is in peril. When somebody could die, to protect them so they don't die, and so this is like giving someone protection from things that are trying to harm them and so forth.
리트가 나긴 가서 뒤도 animal life release 래. 소 세타방 여러 세타방스나.
So this is, can be like, there's the practice of like giving life to like animals and so forth that are destined to be eaten. So you can like liberate them. It's called setar. So that's like one example too.
Often I wondered about that because the people collecting the money for,
People are capturing these animals out of avarice or desire to collect money from those who believe that releasing them is beneficial. That's a strange karmic relationship. Do you understand? So often, like
Right,
for
so
instance,
like
in
the
Kathmandu,
fisher people, like the fishermen or fisher people, they get the fish, and then then they sell the fish to the people that are going to release the fish.
yeah, or birds.
Or
You know,
birds.
like you see it at Bodh Gaya or Bodhanath or places like that. They go and they keep these animals, they catch them, keep them in captivity for the purpose of selling them so that they can make money. Oftentimes I don't think that they're practitioners or Buddhists, or they're just doing this as a trade. Almost, they've turned it into a market, a cottage industry, if you will.
So you're asking about the karma of the people that provide the animals to liberate.
Well, yeah, I mean,
how much he's how much benefit, right?
Oh, how
yeah,
much
because
benefit?
you're giving that person money. They're releasing the animal. And they'll probably go catch it again later. Or you know what I mean?
Right. So actually, there is these two. So they said always with the wisdom. So yes, this is actually I against buy those fish. Like for instance, both guys. That's this terrible thing. Is first somebody buy these fish. So they actually this not really fish they eating, no. Like children, that's the collect the fish, and then also this like plastic bag, and then just plastic, fell just how fishes die. But this is really actually, if the buy or release the life, it's not benefit at all. But I think this counter these days. Beneficial, yes, but also this many ways the faults too. So, so first, like for instance, in the Tibet, they kind of similar organize, like they collect like thousands, millions, money, and then they buy from the animals. So like that is not like fish, Yeah, there is fish too, but like yaks or sheep or goats. So the reality is not benefit. So this what called the butchers, right, or whatever. They have more money. They can buy more and more and more. Never ends. So a lot of conflicts. So interesting. So these days, particularly I said, so these Tibetans like Sagandawa, like special month, right? So Sagandawa or the different months, they said very good business butchers. So yeah, I think you're right. So this is the particular both guys terrible. I was there, I tried to stop, but the people, they're too ignorant. Oh yeah, I want to buy. And then there's one pond. And there, they put there, but that's, if you not buy, there's no need to catch the fish, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Right, so that's actually like both Gaia. If you nobody's buy, and the fish is free. Really is that, you know.
That's right.
But they're buying things, and then these kind of Indian things, they're also both got the fence, they cannot go inside. So they fence the holes, oh yeah, buy the fish, release fish. So that the Tibetans just, their motivation good, but they really don't know how situation. So actually that's very bad. Both guys, that's kind of very bad. But even though like in the Tibet, so first yes, so we can say, okay, this sheep killed now, you know, so maybe somebody buy. So maybe temporarily thinking, okay, but anyway, he can buy one sheep, he can kill. So kind of like
Net zero.
little bit change, but so I think this situation is animal release. Even though yes, you can buy fish, right? So fish release, and maybe okay, we can buy the restaurant. So when they need the fish, they get, you know, their money. So I don't know. So those kind of tricky. So
Yeah, nothing's perfect, certainly. Like when we go to the pet store here, those, like, let's say you get crickets to let go, they're going to be eaten by snakes and reptiles. But you're right, you gave the store money to buy new ones.
yeah.
So it's not clean, but you do the best you can, right?
Right, yeah, kind of like a bit. So we have motivation with something, you know, so. So maybe, yeah, I don't know. So also this everything is involved in business, so.
That's right.
Yeah, I think this is, so now I think a little bit better actually. But the kind of like, that's impossible if you no eat meat, you know, so that everybody. So that's maybe one option, but so in the Tibetan side, East Tibet side, so I think it's a really big mistake. Oh, so they called, okay, here we can buy the meat, right, in the store, so we don't know where killed. But used to Tibet, like own, you know, own animal, and that's sometimes higher, but sometimes just own, they kill, that where they eat the meat. So that's it. So that's a like hundreds, 1,000 years doing this. But now the family say, oh, I don't want to kill. So family. So also these hips, you know, I maybe not keep the hips now. So they did all, like the Tibetan side is the no more hips. But all the board, like Chinese border hips, there are hundreds, thousands hips. So then they do like much worse than Tibetans. They kill like thousands. So we, like for example, he naturally baby once a year. That's naturally, you know. But they do in the actually East Tibet. So the 2 times a baby. So one is called injection. So the baby born, they kill all baby. So this is baby skin, hit baby skin, they die. It's very, very good actually. So very warm, very thin, very light. Like hip skin is very rough, you know, warm, but so hip baby particular. So we kind of, I grow up. So this is very few, you know. So sometimes the mother hip die, and inside baby. So that is the skin is best. So now Chinese doing exactly, you know, just born, they killed. Just born, they killed. And then they're selling this lot of money. So that's Tibetan they're wearing too. So before we never ever killed the lucky baby. So Tibetans so we grow up sheep, yaks, goat we killed. But maybe these sheep or goat or yaks, maybe we did kill, right? So maybe 2 years, maybe 1 year, maybe 3 months. So life is shorter. So like for example, we never killed the young ones. So yak, so mostly I think life maybe 40 years, 41 for 14 or 30, depending. So that's the kind of that's time we can kill, so we eat the meat. So we never ever kill the younger ones. But now we sort of we think, we give up, I no more kill my home. So looks good, seems looks good, but much worse than negatives. So they have to eat the meat, and how to the clothings. Also very important too, this is sheep skins, whatever these leathers, extremely cold. Only people can wearing. So that's kind of sometimes I think you really need to wisdom too, so otherwise sometimes maybe motivation is good, but action is not right, so.
What about, like, for example, my father had cancer and he did not want to he didn't want to go inpatient. And I kind of tricked him into going to the hospital because I knew they were going to admit him and extend his life. Even though I kind of lied to him to get him there, it did extend his life. Eventually he died, but is that an example of what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, so we actually, I said this, maybe your lies we call the negatives, but your action is good, so you are more merit or more positive things.
So in that situation, when there's more virtue than the non-virtue of misleading, then overall it's still virtuous.
So now the last year, chuji jimba azumya. Da chuji jimba tela, da zache hyo de chuji jimba re. Da nga zo ji ngofu ki jimba ro tambina. Da ji kote this pendo yore. Da da kong tuwa na yiri sanzen ki jimba. Da be jimba tambina yang da ko ne kap metal pendo yungro dansi yu karina. Tinga na ye ke ta ji me ji jab jimba ro ina yang ne kap ke ko se so la jab yore. Yine yanda ti ko jimbatene je tambari tine yanda tangya koranda penyo yore tine tansi yutla karcha gorsena ko tarwa tamji chembe pomang ju chi to marwa tine ta tana chuji jimba sona da chuji jimba tela ta za chimbore sona chuji jimba tane chu ti ne ta ji shimba tela tine ji ta gewa do ta nyong pa ta tine ji chiwi na ta ngone ji 지 타로템치 침베게 콤파운 투비아 아키테네 고주 당원이 대책이 어렸다 디나네 자 제쇼데 상생기 짐바타 되네 다 면직 잡지 짐바타 되 추지 짐벤 솜게 나네 되네 추지 짐바타 자 제쇼레스.
So then the third type of generosity is being generous by giving the Dharma. And so giving material possessions giving protection from fear, and so forth. These are meaningful, however, they do not lead to the object, that we are giving to. They do not help others attain the omniscient state of Buddhahood. And so, progressively, they are more meaningful. In general, if you give material possessions and so forth, that is good. But then giving, saving someone's life, that is even, kind of a greater act of generosity. But then bestowing the Dharma, giving the Dharma, is an act of generosity that can help others attain the omniscient state of enlightenment. In fact, those instructions, those Dharma teachings, become the very cause and basis for others to attain enlightenment when they practice those. And so, in that way, it is the most profound type of generosity.
대다 기타가 다 짐바들 짐바 땅요나 근데 짐바들 다 짱짱짱도 야고야 상보로 pure 소야 탑 칸데 요래 휴비나스
The Jimbatanga, the ne.
다 짐바기 땅요로
Uh-huh.
이네 짐바 땅마 tel라 다 짐바데 고트 짱짱짱 perfect 차야라 탑지 요레스.
So, in general, we can give and be generous. And there is a way that we can be generous in a manner so that it is entirely pure.
Or maybe a little bit, maybe not yet, that's one. In that Jitanga, Jimba Seade, Sonam Ji Jungrova. Sonam Seade, that's on a thing contribuanari, Sonam Junchas Jungre Labgudova. Sonam Junchas Jungre Laviatela, ta Perna, then contribuanari, that's a changing damne, Perna Gombanda or Chotano, Tendi Priate, Tiki could give a Junchas Jungre. Tigana Yiki and the Samon Binang was a Tayungdo, Perna public Dosa Tindila. Tinayanti, Kopcha, Soyanda, Kopchalo, Medesanda, Takantanga Yungdo. What he Yungati Candis Jungu or Lavina, I think go this strokes that Tombotella. The public shot of Tombo.
So, in general, when we are generous and we perform acts of generosity, it is virtuous and there is merit. However, in particular, there are ways that we can be virtuous where, and through our generosity, we can create a kind of continuous flow of merit. And so, in relationship to the previous example, when we donate to a Dharma center or a monastery, because there is continuous merit, that act of generosity has this, pays continuous benefits. For example,
Kamba Jaya tela, that's expensive your day involved Suchi Yona. That Chingen tela, some of time that train the winner, not on the Sobato Gray, Sobato your day. Tene go that Karsaka Saran temperature your day, Teniji Yorova. T you do Tigalada, Tajik China, Cochran so this Hako your day. T Koviki, Nipati, Karsenata, Gevaji Yorova. Sonamji Yorwa. T Sonam T, go Tangi T, go Ji Kamba Jange, Telejinda Ching and Telatini, go to Merit Tombo.
So, for example, if we were talking about the Dharma Center, we can talk about this Dharma Center. And so this Dharma Center right here, there was a lot that went into building this particular, temple, this meditation hall. And it was expensive, it took a lot of work, and so many people helped. And so today, though, when we gather, everything is here and seems in order. The temperature,
Chair.
the chairs, everything that has gone into all the subtle things that allow us to have this Dharma teaching. There were a lot of causes and conditions, and many people who helped along the way to make this happen. And so all of them, everybody who gave to support this center and building this meditation hall, and everyone who added a little bit here and there, they all share in the merit of everything that is done, like this gathering today.
Or the receipt, whatever they involved. Merit.
Yeah, so all the merit that is created here, the benefactors and who were generous, they received such merit.
다 대가 나긴 가서 대도 public park. when public park ndo the public park lamga yore mujing chamjang ro ju lo ro chi samba ji wo do cha wi na ko public park ti su na the yore ta nga ye chair ni yore wa chair ko cha ro ya thi ga la ji di na ti lo ro chong bi na ya tene ko ti ke ko metal sur wa ji bo ji la yore wa wo ning ye so ji the yore wa wo ti lu ta thang bo ko cha song ye su yin ba ko cha ki da su yin ba park song su yin bo ta to so ro ina ta ko ge wa de ko jun cha de ko tak pa ren ki ko da ji ge wa de yong de bi ore is
So for example, if we have like a public park, usually there are a lot of factors that go into that public park, and there can be donors and so forth that donate money and resources to that public park. And so in this example, a public park and all the different factors involved become a source of continuous merit. So if you donate to a public park and say your donations go to even just a bench or a chair, every single time, every single day, and throughout the day, when people relax on that bench and that chair, and they take a load off and they think, oh, this is so nice, I just get to relax here and chill. And they experience some, kind of a positive state, then that's virtuous. That experience, leads them to there is a virtue there. And so those who donated to make that happen experience this continuous benefit of merit. And so there is this continuous merit in such a situation.
어다 디니트네 다디 짐바텔라 짱마서야 다 당기 혼큐바나 짐바데베 피어 차야라 간디지 지고레 휴비나 드네 다 ngazo 대종을 쿠르솜 넘버면 더와 성도와 쿠르솜 넘버면 더와 성도 드네 지다 그 짐바 땅겐게 유 드네 태양 되네 랑이 맞아와 짐바 땅야게 우포 자라 이나야 랑이 맞아와 어다 땅게 강사 코라야 랑이 맞아와 다 되니지 강 내비나 되니 짐바 타고 퍼펙트 피어로 체크해 서비스.
So then, as okay, so then, and focusing back. So then, in terms of perfect generosity, the way to have perfect generosity, where every aspect of the generosity is pure, as Drupon mentioned before, the way to do that is that we want to have see the complete purity of the three spheres when we engage in generosity. And so when we have a complete pure relationship with the three spheres, we are not conceptualizing, one, ourselves doing the, the ones who are doing the generosity, act of generosity. Two, we are not conceptualizing the field, the object to who we are, being generous to. And then three, the act or the object of generosity. If we are giving something, we are not conceptualizing that either. And so when we transcend concepts and don't, fixate on any conceptual aspect of the act of generosity, then that type of generosity becomes perfect without any flaws.
다 가서 naturally 참사 용거와 가서 지 로지 용거에 참사야 지 배나 진다트 솔라야 안다 진다티 고지 메시바티케 진다트 호소 투지치에서 라고요레 야 진다트 소키야 아 진다 코라오타 네 치다 가지 도비 당에다 배자치모 십치 섬베 로요와 이 지벌에 자침보 지벌에 디나야 그 increasing complete 차고는 다 단다디 고소나 말면 더바지 야 직다 지하데 지벌에 이나야 공에 지zam도 그 가르세다 디식 고텔라 complete 도 마차와테네 그 가르세고지 가르세고 지 밸류도 오치 마소나테네 다 리두스 차사리스
Values enough?
value.
Injigate value.
네,
Okay, okay. Value, just somewhat.
야 value로와 공식도 있나 다 차사리스. So then benati then ko tang be kan hansa ka motor kita chimbojiuna. Yori tina yang ko second hand chana then ko value te. Don't chagro then do chano borisati samdang ko des.
So naturally, when we engage in acts of generosity, of course, there are, it's easy to have some concepts. Sometimes, when a benefactor gives something, then the recipients then say to the benefactor, "Oh, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that. It really helps." And then the benefactors might think, "Oh, I did a great thing today. I really helped those people out." And so then there's concepts. And so this can happen. However, to increase the power of an act of generosity, then it's important for us to not have any concepts of the three spheres. When we can engage in an act of generosity without any second motivation or without any second thought, then it is completely pure. But the moment we start to conceptualize it and think, "Oh, I did a good thing," and so forth, it becomes not as perfect. And so,
That's the difficult part, right? Maybe much worse than giving to generosity.
So Drupon says it's like a really nice car. When you have like an amazing car and it's brand new and flawless, then it's just like perfect. It's just a flawless car. But then once you drive it off the lot and you pay for it, then it kind of declines in value. So
so the car itself, so perfect, right? Generosity, perfect, the three spheres. But you with a concept, then your car is no longer new. So then they become value is like down. So you become second car, second hand, sorry, not second.
So non-conceptualized generosity is like a perfect brand new car. And
You got it, right?
conceptual generosity is like a used car. Still works, but not,
Yeah, they work, yes, that's okay.
doesn't have
So
the
they be
warranty.
thinking idea, so this. But sometimes even though this, you see this, maybe how motivation, we don't know, but also lamas, put how much, put the Facebooks, maybe this is here, maybe some case, maybe beneficial, But sometimes I don't know what their motivation too, so maybe, so the difficult, that's actually really difficult part. Really is, I said, maybe generosity, maybe they do, they give the luck. Everybody, they do. But the motivation side is just completely like kind of like you non-existence, just empty. It's harder, so always think, oh, I did this, so that's kind of like harder, but we have to learning. So if you really good resort, or you really good new car, you can keep new car, not become, second. So that's kind of like a Dharma practice, So Dharma practice, basically, is one hand is just almost kind of similar Dharma practice, the worldly sense, right? Dharma practice.
So Dharma practice can look very similar to the activities of worldly individuals.
Right, so this familiar, what you study, you take your effort, so the diligent, and, so those things go similar in Dharma practice, same way. You have diligent, you have to practice, familiar, these things. That's kind of similar. But different is, so the ordinary sense or holy sense, they don't pay attention to the concept. But with Dharma science sense, it's really focus the mind. So as much as you're pure. So also, I said before, like really is the depending you achieve it not, is you have sub-clinging. So that is our goal, So whatever you do, different parties, different things, But sometimes we forget those. They're like kind of Dharma become like kind of similar, the holy sense. It's good you have merit, you are practice, you are, what the generosity and so on. So, but I said it's not complete. So that's the kind of hardest part. That's everywhere, like, I think every country, every tradition. So, also like even though I said Tibet, they do. So sometimes, even though there are computations, so we raise the money, I think we build a monastery in Tibet. So then he gave the 20,000, then oh, I give 21,000 or a little bit more or something, 30,000, 40, probably good for monastery, but donors little bit. They're really good thing, but at the same time, so that's kind of, yes, of course there's nothing negatives, but they didn't get fully merit. So that's also hard. So that does take time, So we, right now, oh yeah, I'm doing this, yeah, I'm not thinking anything like, that's hard. But most important part is what I do. So we have to understand, okay? So then slowly we're working on, You're beginning, you don't know, so then they always like lose, little bit. But you understanding, then just be working on so slowly. So, what that day, Karsanata, 데 지가리다 단다지 고속 넘버를 맞도록 다 가서 응어봐서야 돼. 개침보래다. 리미당 미미 세야들라. 드네 다 드네야. 고지 뭐왜 기계답이야 돼. 개침보래스.
So when we do the dedication of merit at the end of our practice, similarly, we do not conceptualize the three spheres. And so in that kind of context, we are not focused conceptually on, the attainment of any type of fruition and so forth. And so like that, here it's important that we go beyond limited concepts of what we hope to achieve.
Okay, another thing is very important. There was that carry love in a work or concept you know carry logre. There was or that yank penetrated Bejinda Chimbo Tombare, Jinda Chimbo Tone, Tanya Tony is not Delaco, when it's in Munitsuro, Korea, the Munitsuro, honest. In a carry your is love in a Chona concept tiki chong yore laviaki, Jimsen Karis lavina, da not so Jula Buddha nature scenario, Hidevari Pinimo Rangi Yorda. T Rangi to go to Juriak Chitolata, Chick Benaji so Pachito, La Sopanga, Daya Sabumeta, Mambo, Chiriorva. Mambo Chirioris. Yina that Tikibu Karsena. Buddha nature 모든 요트 그래서 요트 요 말이. 다도 참아지 효자거다. 효자 니번으로 에너지로 때려와. 배는 아다나 에너지를 그거래. 다 손놈 간이지 손놈 그 자태라고 봐. 서포트. 대요래 되네. 다티 요디 가서 타마다 타동 참아라 가서는 딱 고선 남발면 도와 세야 되가나다. 오토매틱 차디 요러와. 얘는 테네비나 저러다 보다 내가 통보래. 자타티야 그 상보이나 개와이나 당기데 어다지 내치 상비 컨셉이나 양고 보다 내가 또 대대 그러와. 티체 버렸어요.
So then it's really important to really understand, so what's the harm in having some concepts about, our acts of generosity and so forth. So, perhaps we are a great benefactor and we engage in a huge, act of generosity. And, on one hand, that's real. We engaged in this act of generosity. However, there's a subtle fault there with that type of concept. Because, ultimately, we have a Buddha nature. All sentient beings, all reality is pervaded by Buddha nature. And what we are doing when we are engaging in activities like generosity, discipline, patience, diligence, and the rest of the 6 perfections and so forth, is we are working to achieve a state where we can fully recognize and embody that Buddha nature. And so when we engage in virtuous practices, when we recite numbers of mantras, when we accumulate merit, we're creating energy that is directed towards us being able to gain that realization of that ultimate Buddha nature. However, until we are able to experience and fully realize a state that is completely free from concepts of the 3 spheres, then we have a subtle obscuration in our mind. And so, on one hand, it's good when we engage in virtuous activities of generosity and so forth. However, until we can completely go beyond concepts of the 3 spheres, the subject, object, and activity, then we don't fully realize that selfless Buddha nature. So that's the fault with having concepts when we engage in generosity and so forth.
Okay. So now generosity is complete. So you have some questions?
So, the question of like pride then arises, right? Like, if I get what you're saying is, if you're attaching to the concepts of the generous actions and then you're having this sort of like pride for then being generous, then are you sort of experiencing like a negative karmic consequence for the pride that you feel for then being generous? Or if your generous intention is to then like show off that you've been generous, and how does the karma kind of work with that?
Tati yanko te yoris. Also the depending yoris. But some may not ji or me jinda tong ilamna ko shendal expire chaya la yant long sigirova.
The
Ben magic jinda tong ina roa. Morang cry the love song or cry. Ngaji sentaji. Pope told the Mishimbal and Kaya, some of Tang much or the Khan La much or Maris. Benning in that tone no love in it, Chikina, or Himbalaya, expire Chayaki, Copeno, you cigarette.
expire?
Consul Nipano.
Inspire. Yeah, yeah.
In the Kaya La much or Kaya much or Maris. In the Moran go to Vatican.
So, right. So Drupon said first, when we are generous, for example, it can be inspiring for others, and they can say, thank you, this was like really kind of you.
Yes, also just completely, ignore, not like that. Sometimes we can telling them to on things, I did this, so not really negative side, so just kind of other people inspired or example, so that's okay. But ultimately, so we check out, yes, I did this, I is more stronger, and then this kind of like more, not really negative, but kind of like you got like 100 pounds, so just completely you get 100 pounds, right? But then you think, oh, I did this, like good, or whatever. So the worldly sense, yeah, that's good, this really kind of truth, But the Dharma sense, then you can get not 100 pounds, you can get, I don't know, maybe 80 pounds or something. Merit. So that's kind of example. Okay.
There's nothing online.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's good.
There is one.
Okay.
So it says, what is the relationship between pure generosity and the Dharmakaya?
Yeah, so this, I said this, the course of number method, then Dharmakaya Chadi.
So when we do not have concepts of the three spheres, that is the subject, the object, and the activity, then that itself is the Dharmakaya. So when we are generous without concepts of the three spheres, then our generosity becomes the Dharmakaya.
Tangas te yor getang pene tondam unzop se tondam se yorwa. Tene ko chama tong tembengul chag yoris.
So
generally yorwa ngaso chik unzop ki demba
Yeah, I think that's good.
I have a question and I put it online.
It says, what is the relation?
So generally, you know, in Buddhism, we talk about the relative truth and the ultimate truth. And so we can act virtuously according to the relative truth through, you know, such acts. But then when we do not have any concepts of the three spheres, then that virtue becomes, it embodies the ultimate truth. So our practice becomes the ultimate truth when we practice without concepts in that way.
Mm-hmm. So we can start here.
And I missed the fourth aspect of generosity.
You know, 6 paramitas, I think very important, you know, so sometimes we giving the importance, maybe they're blessings, probably, but kind of more actually learning, you know, so there's, you know, hundreds, the different texts, but this is kind of, one hand is very simple, not that difficult, I think. But one hand is, you know, the useful. So that is kind of, I said this daily basis, you know, so we have to thinking about, you know, 6 parameters. So I think this is, I think pretty good. So I think pretty good means important. So. Okay.
Drupon, the question online was, what's the fourth aspect of generosity?
4.
I thought there were 3.
I said 3.
Okay. Thank you.
I thought you said 4.
If we can count, you know, I think there are many. So like, for example, this, the impure generosity, they are all the categorized, you know, you don't, this one, this one, this one. So maybe more than 4, I think more than 10, 20, I think so. But I think it's sort of like understanding way. 3 is okay. So 3 is called Lamba in Buddhism. Okay.
I have one more question, I promise. And that's, I don't know, and basically when I first started practicing Tibetan Buddhism,
Oh, so the 10th is the, actually we have like Pema Sambhava, so this one kind of we call second Buddha, but so this kind of, I don't know his birthday or, so that's why it's more powerful. And actually 15, we call full moon and new moon is more, I think, the different energy. So like sort of that particular, you know, moon is complete. So that time is interesting, right? So kind of like we believe in the Tibetans, including me, in just, yeah, full moon is, you know, best. But I don't know something other than something energy different. But but just, yeah. But I think these days, I think people feel, right? I think people, a full moon is, they physically is like really different, I think. So they can change. So the physically is kind of more energy. So if they put in the practice, I think more merit, you know. So sometimes, you know, feels maybe not sleeping or negative things, I don't know, but we put inside, into the practice, then I think more power, more merit. So they said increasing merit, like for example, 10, so like for instance, we can Om Mani Padme Hum Mala, so like increasing, if you do the 1 mala, but the kind of increasing 3, 4 mala, 10 malas or something like that, and the different days.
And Drupon, that's the Tibetan calendar, correctly?
Yes.
See, I think there is different energy on a full moon because when I'm at work, when we have a full moon, the residents have a lot of energy. Like lots and lots of energy. And then you hear the nurses like, oh, it must be a full moon.
Right, yeah, that's really is that I found here, but I don't know something, Tibetans, some require, but I never heard that is really physical fields. So they're just doing practice, the full moon, the important smoke offerings, those they do. But yeah, I think here is like more physically feeling. So now dedication.
Okay, so on page 24 in the prayer book, do these short dedication prayers. By the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Drupon Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.